No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thy friends or thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never sin to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. These words, familiar to many of us from high school English literature, they are found near the conclusion of a longer devotional piece, Meditation 17 of Devotions upon Emergent Occasions. Donne wrote them during his recovery from a long illness. Meditation 17 is worth reading in its entirety because it reveals that those ominous-sounding words about the tolling of the bells are a part of a more expansive statement of faith, of the web of human interconnectedness, where the celebration of a single newborn child or the loss of a solitary soul affects all deeply. During this past year, the bells have tolled more often than we ever could have imagined. At least 530,000 people in the United States alone have lost their lives to COVID-19. Over 2.6 million worldwide. Each loss touched a community. Now, if we feel diminished as we go about our days, there is no shame in this. Our capacity to feel deeply and then to respond with courage and generosity is one of the greatest gifts of our humanity. When Donne wrote these words, "Never sin to know for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee," he was reflecting not only on his own illness, but on a larger experience deep within his bones. Donne, at this point in his life, you see, was the dean of St. Paul's Cathedral in London. And one of the ways that a cathedral dean or a chapel dean cares for a community is to lead mourners gently and graciously through the valley of the shadow of death. Beyond that shadow, Donne used to preach, there is neither darkness nor dazzling, but one equal light. No noise nor silence, but one equal music. Clerics who share Donne's lineage understand what it means to engage in the peculiar ritual of taking one's place at the head of the cortege. After the prayers are said, the words of praise spoken, the lively remembrances of family and friends still lingering in the sacred space. One glances toward the family seated in the front row, and then breaking ranks and walking over to greet them. You signal that it is time for them to take the next step in saying goodbye before returning to the head of the procession. You lead the coffin borne aloft by the hardiest of souls, and the entire gathered community slowly through the nave. You lead because you know what Donne and everyone whose duty it is to lead the long and difficult march knows. Beyond the great doors of the cathedral or chapel, there will be daylight. And there is light. I see light in all the creative ways we strive to remain faithful to our mission, ensuring the learning, growth, and flourishing of a rising generation, even as we mourn the fallen. I see light in the virtual gatherings of people who, under ordinary circumstances, might not have been able to travel far distances to attend the birthday celebration, the iftar, or Passover Seder. They sacrifice the warmth and comfort of physical connection in order to share the burden of heroism. I have seen it in the faces of clever students who have led clothing drives for record numbers of people facing hardship this past winter. And I saw light in the hidden magic created by our groundskeepers one particularly challenging Saturday afternoon, when, missing so terribly the great privilege of greeting visitors and friends at the door of this chapel, I rode my bicycle to the center of the main quad and then paused to photograph a flower I had never seen on this campus before, a crown imperial, Fritillaria imperialis, its bright orange flowers reflecting the daylight. Someone I have yet to meet planted it there without great fanfare, knowing that it would bring someone else joy and inspiration. We see daylight in every act of care, as healthcare workers not only treat the bodies of those who are ill, but go above and beyond their calling, serving as the most courageous chaplains on any battlefield anywhere, mediating the love of family and friends who cannot be at their loved one's bedside. I see it in the moments of faith in our future together. Someone I have yet to meet wrote me and said, "When the time is right, of course, can you take the lead in organizing a great multi-faith service of Thanksgiving for all of those first responders who have shown such great care?" That note arrived nearly a year ago, in April of 2020, 3 short weeks after this chapel closed to the public. When our great procession through these long shadows ends, there will be light, and there is light. And as the solemn tolling of the bells around the world slows to a less conspicuous pace, you and I will enjoy together a music sweeter still.